Well, we're here today to celebrate the Ecovillage movement, and in particular, 5 of the leaders of that movement. And one of the first persons I'm going to mention in this connection is Declan Kennedy. Back in 1985, Declan and his wife Margaret founded one of the first eco-villages in Germany called Lebensgarten. And Hildur and I were with them shortly after, and it was at that time that the very idea of forming a global network of eco-villages first was raised. And this led eventually to the formation of the Global Ecovillage Network some years later. So Declan became actually the first chairman of the Global Ecovillage Network when it was formally organized in 1995. And he was also the head of the Gen Europe Council for some years as well. So he is certainly a very, very important person in this connection. And Hildur, I think, has a few words to add. After we told Declan of his award, he had a few words to say.
I'm thrilled we are thinking up this Gaia Trust Award and feel very, very honored. Would love to welcome in the new era with joy, love, and a dance, of course.
Well, thank you, Declan, for that. And now I'd like to move on to the second of the original leaders, along with Declan. Max Lindegar from Australia was a student of Bill Mollison, the originator of permaculture. And he became, over the years, perhaps the leading expert on permaculture in the world. And one of his first projects in Australia was to form what is called the Crystal Waters Permaculture Village.
I'm humbled to receive this award with friends I've been working with for so many years. Hildur's letter did bring with it a stream of memories from events from around the world we shared, and I do believe that all of us have helped to bring awareness and positive changes to our planet. I'll be using the award money to help further the progress in the villages in northwest Cambodia. With thanks and appreciation, Max, from an Australian summer.
The third member of our original trio was Albert Bates, an American who was one of the co-founders, one of the early residents, at least, of the so-called the farm in Tennessee, USA. And it's a fantastic story because this project arose out of the 1968 student movement, which started actually in San Francisco. And a group of people from there traveled around the United States in 70 buses for a matter of several months, trying to find a place where they could settle down and be kind of a microcosm of the new culture which they saw coming. They were very, very early adapters, these people. So what does he have to say, Hildur?
Wow, I'm speechless. 12/12/12 is a very auspicious day all around. I'm flying that day from the Tennessee to Mexico, where it's the Day of the Virgin of Guadalupe, celebrated as the first mixed-race symbol of religious unification and of the sacred corn gift to humans. I'll apply this money to our eco-village development work in the South to teach in Mexico, Belize, and Colombia this winter and to assist those projects.
As Hildur mentioned, we're celebrating 3 of the original leaders of the Global Ecovillage Network, and now we're going to celebrate 2 of the current leaders who have taken over from the 3 men. And the first of these is Kasia Joubert, who was born originally in South Africa, and was very much, I think her whole attitude towards life has been very much affected by what happened in South Africa in her younger days. But most of her life she's actually spent in Germany, where she raised her children. And more recently, she has moved to Findhorn, the eco-village of northern Scotland, and is to be married actually in the coming next spring. Kasia is a very dynamic and charismatic leader. She not only has been the head of the Gen Europe for several years, and now the head of the Gen International, but she was also instrumental in forming Gen Africa, the African network. Kasia has been one of the key people in developing the educational program which arose out of the Ecovillage movement called Gaia Education. Actually, it was Hildur who was the initiator of this project back in 1998. And the idea was that we would form a 4-week course that would be taught all over the world on how to design sustainable communities. And we developed this together with about 30 teachers from the Ecovillage movement. And this resulted in 2005 of having a formal curriculum which is now approved by not only all the Ecovillage people but also by UNITAR, the United Nations agency, and later on was also approved by UNESCO. And this has been taught now over the entire world for the last 7 years.
Kasia, she is writing, I'm deeply honored to be part of this circle of inspired and strong world workers and will continue to learn from each of you. Thank you for making my life so rich. With heartfelt gratitude.
So now I'd like to move on to the fifth of our leaders, May East. May East, who is originally from Brazil but now living in Findhorn in Scotland. In her young days, May was actually a well-known singer in Brazil and became very popular. She had a great future in front of her, but she was also very much a rebel in a way. You know, she wanted to change the world, and she's been doing it ever since. When this educational program was suggested by Hildur back in 1998, May East was one of those who was invited, along with about 50 others, and she was very instrumental in developing this curriculum. And when in 2005, when we decided to actually launch the organization, she was chosen among the 30 or so teachers who had developed this curriculum to be the leader, as the so-called Mother Goose. And at that time, we adopted this idea of the geese as a symbol of our project, because the idea with the geese is that they don't have the same leader all the time. The leader is on a great strain because there's a lot more effort to be at the front. You know, if you're at one of the geese a little further back, you're protected by the ones who are in front of you. And so once in a while, the leader goes back and a new leader comes forward. And so this has been the basic concept of our organization.
So we flap our wings and we say, come.
But the actual result has been since then, every time we start thinking about having a new Mother Goose, everybody says, oh no, continue, May, please carry on. So the latest is that she says, well, I will continue at least until the end of 2014, and then we have to find someone new. So May has been a very important person in the whole project. No, and she did send a very short message. Did you have that?
Oh, May, what a wonderful surprise and gift. Currently in Brazil, closing 3Ds, and will send a message soon. We will go and see if it's like
Typically very busy.
I think that we had this idea that we should have a fire up when it gets dark as the end of the day. And right now things that we want to burn